Power 7 Podcast. Good morning. Back at it again for another episode of the Power 7 Podcast. I'm your host, the Almighty Nicodemus. Back again for one of my daily, or shall I say weekly morning rants. Shout out to any listeners that I have. Please feel free to comment, share, like. Let a brother know that you out there. Once again, it's the Power 7 Podcast. And I want to say to all my listeners, if it's one or if it's 100, hey, if you got 2 arms, 2 legs, and 1 head to get out here and make it happen for you and yours, you are truly blessed. Let's get it. So, what the hell, man? I thought, I was wrapping it the fuck up. I thought we was wrapping this whole Kendrick Lamar Drake thing up, which it appears to be wrapped up. People ain't, people still talking about it. It's still a conversation, but it's official that the battle is over, which, if you know, the battle was over after Not Like Us. I say after Meet the Grams. Well, Not Like Us was just the victory lap. But, there's been a little lingering talk and things of that nature going on about it. The shooting that happened out there at Drake's crib had nothing to do with Kendrick or TDE or anything like that. Supposedly, allegedly, it has to do with, what's the guy's name? That brother, The Weeknd. Supposedly, allegedly, but none of that's been confirmed, and I don't really care. I just cared about the battle, which was an event. It was a build-up. Kendrick Lamar and Drake, from my understanding, have been trading disses subliminally, if not overtly, for a long time. I know I can at least trace a diss from Kendrick back to Pimp a Butterfly on King Kunta. When he say, I'm hearing about people sharing bars like they in a 2-man cell. That's definitely a diss to Drake. And what was some Pimp a Butterfly that came out in 2015, 2016? So we're talking about 9 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, that these guys probably have been trading blows towards one another. And it created the event that all us hip-hop heads who appreciate hip-hop when it's in its competitive spirit, it was able to capture that as an event, which to me, I think because of social media and all the podcasts and the streamers reacting to it, actually made this a big hip-hop event, actually made this probably one of the best battles or biggest battles of all time. It probably also, from my understanding, generated a lot of money for a lot of individuals, a lot of streamers, a lot of podcasters, websites, probably social medias, IGs, all kind of stuff, not to mention the artists. So if the artists benefited, you know who else benefited? The labels. So it created a whole lot of income. And now, I don't know, all of a sudden everybody's popping up and they want to put out diss records and they want to have all these little Twitter beats and have things to say. But the game, This Is Rick Ross, Sean Puffy's son comes out trying to talk reckless, Meek Mill throwing shots at 50 Cent, Soulja Boy throwing shots at Meek Mill. Like, nobody give a fuck about none of that, all right? This stuff, that ain't organic. That shit feels connived or contrived. It's conniving because it's deceitful, but it still feels hella contrived because of the income that battle made. I'm like, yo, let's not jump on the wave. Now, what makes battles special and what makes them hard is, it's usually some people that's been taking jabs at one another for a minute, and now we've finally come to the moment where they're finally going to say what they need to say to one another. And that's what happens with all the battles. There was always something behind it that started it up. But when cats just come out, jumping out trees, talking about other rappers and wanting to make diss tracks, it's like, bro, come on, man. We know what this is. This is not the way. This is not going to push it. This is not going to make you no money, because that's what you're really trying to do. And the game does this all the time. Tries to stir up a little heat and cause a battle. That shit never works, and it ain't going to work now. I'm pretty sure people ain't stupid, although entertainers and politicians try to play us like we are. But we are not stupid. It ain't going to work. Let it go. Dead that shit. Y'all ain't Kendrick. Y'all ain't Drake. Y'all ain't doing their numbers. Y'all ain't doing their tours. Y'all are not them. Y'all shit ain't gonna go that hard. Y'all shit ain't gonna go hard at all. Maybe for the few scraps of fans or cats who just want to be different and be like, oh, that shit was pretty tight. Yeah, it might have been a cool song, but it ain't relevant to anything. And it don't matter. So I ain't feeling that shit, and people are piggybacking. Like I said, that ain't the way. Piggybacking ain't the way. On to other things that I found quite interesting. Questlove, Amir Thompson, one of my favorite groups, probably one of my top, with my favorite MC in it. Questlove on the Roots. I don't know. Is Questlove turning into the old guy who doesn't understand anymore, or is Questlove showing his true colors now that he's older? Is he turning into, I don't care, I'm just gonna say whatever, you know, maybe it's time for me to start letting my snobbish attitude show, because he's alluded to that he was kind of a hip-hop snob back in the day, but I think he's still a hip-hop snob for sure, and he's letting some of it come out. I think over the weekend they asked him about the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle, and you know, if you didn't like it, you didn't care for it, that's fine. You know, you didn't have to like it. You know, nobody has to like anything. Like what you like, or love what you love. Nobody has to. But the problem was, at the end of his statement, he said that hip hop was dead. Questlove said that hip hop was dead because of this battle. I don't know if he said that just to be dramatic, or is he just truly a whack-ass, snobby-ass individual? Because, bro, you can't pick and choose. Because you was rocking with Hov. I ain't saying you rocked with the song Super Ugly, but, I mean, you played the drums on stage to take over. And trust me, mud was slung in that battle. And I'll always say this when I talk about the Jay-Z Nas battle, there was smoke for Jazzo for some of the things that Nas said. So apparently some of the things Nas said were true, and it touched Jay-Z in a certain type of way because they think that Nas paid Jazzo for some information. Like, this is public knowledge. You can go try and look it up on the Drink Champs episode with Jazzo. It's still up on YouTube. You can look that up. It's definitely up there. So then another clip comes out yesterday where, and I think this is all from the same thing. This is all from the same interview. He goes on to play the Hit 'Em Up joint. Tupac's Hit 'Em Up. And starts saying like dissing it. Like, what is this? He's rapping to like dinner music? Why did he use this sample? Like, I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about? Why did he use that sample? Everybody knows why he used that sample. It was a diss and a make fun of and a poke to Junior Mafia's Get Money remix. And you know this. You gotta know this. You were around at the time. You even had a little issue with Piggy because of the What They Do video. So you can't sit up here and play ignorant and act like you don't know what was going on at the time or why he chose that beat, which is the same beat for Paid in Full. So that's why I say he's that snobbish shit, picking and choosing it. Whatever you're like for some reason is what caviar and the other shit is McDonald's. Like, I don't get that shit, you know? And I usually rock with Questlove. I listen to his show. The dude has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to music, you know? And like I said, he's alluded to his show, on his show that, hey, you know, at one time I was kind of a music snob, so I didn't get things. And when I hear stuff like that, I just take it as a person had growth. But to sit up here, we're talking about, 20-some odd years later, and you say Tupac hit him up, it's not a good battle or diss or gets disqualified from this is because of the Dennis Edwards sample, the same sample that Rakim used, and you try to say, like, what do Luther Vandross could have sung to this. You rapping to dinner music. This from a brother that plays drums in a damn near hip-hop jazz fusion band. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I didn't see the whole interview, so hopefully maybe he brings up Summertime from Will Smith. Like, hey, because, what the fuck was that sample? You know what I'm saying? So, I can't rock with that type of shit, man. I can't rock with that. And, it kind of disappointed me because the Roots and, Questlove, like, these are some artists, hip-hop artists that I always leaned on in a time when, for me, hip-hop was dead. And it should always, if you feel like hip-hop is dead, make it say it's dead for you. You know what I'm saying? Have your own personal wake for hip-hop, if that's the field. Because hip-hop is dead for a lot of individuals my age and older, and maybe some in the middle, but it's for whatever, it ain't for that. It's for whatever reason that they loved it that don't exist no more. And that's a whole nother podcast. But I'm going to end it on this note. As always, be blessed. This is your boy, the Almighty Nicodemus, Power 7 Podcast. Peace.